Okay, now we know that there are two styles of programming. Basically, there are more than two styles, right? Generally, I am giving these two styles, but I'm telling this generally. So you said that, so there are more. So for an example, there's something called functional oriented programming, programming in art form. There's something called object based programming, reuse oriented programming. There are many concepts, but out of these many, so what we are going to learn, basically what you're going to practice now is these two concepts, right? The other concept you have, that's what I said. There's 20% theory and 80% practical. In that 20% theory, the other concepts are also there. So when we are discussing about the 20% theory part, so this is, today we are not going to do a theory lesson basically, but even though I gave the introduction and all. So when we are going to learn about the theory lesson, we can discuss all these things, because then I refer to the syllabus and go through the syllabus topics. Here that what I'm going to do is I'm going to brief this, I'm going to start programming part. So briefing, well, itself will take some time, sorry for that. Right? Okay, there are three basically in any of these methods. Basically, procedural programming, object-oriented programming. You have to know three basic methods to write the structures. So the first one is sequence, second one is selection, and third one is called repetition or iteration. And in this tree control structure, this is similar to our lifeline, student lifeline, basically. So when you started from grade 1 to grade 11, you came like, you passed grade 1 and came to grade 2, then you passed grade 2 and came to grade 3. Likewise, one by one you came. But in grade 11, in your O levels, you have to make a selection. You have to make a selection. So you have selected your advanced level subjects, whether to do in maths or science or technology or arts. Likewise, you have to make a selection. So this is where you have to select one path from some alternatives. For an example, if you come to a junction, you have to either turn right or turn left. You can't turn right and left both, right? So that is where the selection comes. Then the repetition. Repetition means you do the same thing again and again until a certain condition. So sometimes in A level, some students are doing like that. I don't know about you. Some are doing first shy and they are trying second shy, they are trying third shy, and likewise, they are trying the same things again and again to go through the examination. So that is called repetition. So you can just study that through your life cycle. Please relate that to your student life cycle. Sequence, selection, and repetition. This is common in Sri Lanka. Mostly students are coming from grade 1 to 11 in sequence, and then they do the selection, and finally they end up with repetition. But so how you relate this to computer? Because basically sequence means, so you can do something like this. Sequence means you can write, maybe you can type a document in order. First line completed, then go to the second line completed, or this numbering. First number completed, then go to the second number completed, then go to the second number, third number. So this is sequence. This has an order. Selection, you can just highlight this. That is a selection. Out of all these, you highlight one letter or maybe one paragraph or one line, like this. One paragraph or one section or one word or few words. One word, two word, three words, few words. So that is called selection. You select. Why you select? Then you can apply different format. Color it. So sequence, select, you apply some other color. Repetition, you double click and apply some other color. That is called, anyway, the applying color also selection. You have to select from the colors. Repetition means you do the same thing again and again. After finishing each point, you press enter to get the next number. After finishing the second point, you press enter to get the next number. After finishing the third point, you press enter to get the next number. That is repetition. You do the same task again and again until a condition is satisfied. Clear on this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We can take a screenshot of print screen.
Okay. Okay. Done.
Done.
Okay, sir.
Right, then the critical part. So now we are going to start. Now we are going to start with designing and coding. Okay, for designing, I'm using this tool called, so here you saw that problem definition, requirement analysis, system design and development. These are the steps. So my question is this: design a system to print odd numbers from 1 to 20. That is my problem. It's very clear. Problem and requirements, it's almost, problem and requirement is almost same. So see my question. Question number one: design a system to and develop to print odd numbers from 1 to 20. Design and develop. What's the difference between design and develop? You know now. Design you have to plan. Development you have to implement. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. So the inputs, you are not going to give any input because you are not going to take something from the users. Developer decide to, or developer decide, the user has already given the range. Range is 1 to 20. So you can start from 1. So this is called the requirement analysis. You have to find out the requirements. Okay, you have to start from 1. We have to stop where the number greater than 20. The outputs will be 1 to 19. These are the outputs. And what is the process? Start from 1 and then add 2. It will give 3. Add 2, it will give 5. Add 2, it will give 7. So likewise, it will give numbers. And decisions, yes, decision. So is there repetition? Is there any repetition?
No,
No.
sir. No.
Add into, repeat.
And two.
Add into and repeat the process. That's repetition. So you have here you have inputs. You have to select among the inputs. It's sequential order one by one, but again you have to repeat. Add into and repeat the process until it becomes 20. So this is how you analyze a problem. And after that, you have to come up with a design tool. Okay, first do with a small example. First do with small example related to sequence. Okay, I'll input. So please write down the same, or you can start implementing, start designing. Input 3 numbers and find the average. So find the total and average and print those. Input 3 numbers, find the total and average and print those. What are the inputs? Very clear. Inputs, you can say number 1, number 2, and number 3 are the inputs. So what are the outputs? Yes. What are the outputs?
A total
Sorry.
average.
Yeah. Total and average. So any processes?
Printing. No. Adding, right? Total
Yeah.
means
Adding
adding.
numbers. You can say total
Adding and division.
Dividing.
and division number 1, number 2, number 3, and then you can say
Average.
average is equal to total
Total
divided
divided
by the process.
by 3.
And any decisions?
Print. No. No decision.
No, no decisions. No. Any iterations or repetitions?
No.
No repetitions.
Sir, for processors, printing also must come, right?
Printing is basically taken as output. No?
Uh,
Input is input, printing is output. Absolutely, if you are speaking, if you are truly speaking, so printing
it's a
also
process, no?
always, printing also need input, also need a process, And output also need processors involved, CPU involvement. That is truly speaking. But generally, you take inputs N1, N2, N3, and outputs total and average.
Hmm.
Generally, we take those independently to show that. To show these symbols, there are set of symbols. So I'm going to introduce a tool for designing. Tool for designing this. I'm suggesting you to use flow chart. Tool for designing this. These are the symbols. So you can say rounded rectangle or ellipse. Basically, ellipse or rounded rectangle is used for start and stop. Start and stop. So one of these, right? Or you can use a rounded rectangle or ellipse. Then you can use this one for processes. Rectangle for process. And then you can use input out. For input output, you can use a parallelogram. That is for input and output. Parallelogram. Then you can use this diamond for decisions, D for D, diamonds for decisions. Will be taken using diamond. And then if you want to connect multiple paths, use circle for connection, circle as the connector, circle as the connector. Okay, then for flow, data flows, you are using arrows. Arrows for data flow. You can use any direction. These arrows can flow any direction, bottom, top, or right, left, any direction. These are for data flow. Okay, these are the symbols. Using these symbols, can you show this case? Can you show this first case? Can you try to do this along? So it's very simple one. You have three things, N1, N2, N3, total and average,
Okay.
outputs, inputs, processes, no decisions, so no need to use this. And no multiple paths, so no connectors required. Start, stop you need, data flow you need. So can you show this quickly? Take a screenshot if you wish or draw this separately. Then
Hmm.
write the answer for the question.
So we have to draw this, right?
Yeah,
Draw
you can
and
draw this.
yeah.
So let me help. So starting, you can do this using this. You can just mention
Start,
start.
stop. Yeah.
No need to mention stop. Here you can say start. Then, then you have to input number one, number two, number three. So anyway, we have break down the problem here no, in requirement analysis.
So then begin and it comes in pseudocodes.
Yeah, begin. So that depends because some people they can use begin, but basically we use that's a practice like thing. There are
Hmm.
no rules. It's like a practice. Begin you use for pseudocodes because earlier days languages like Pascal they use this begin
Yeah.
and all.
Uh,
Begin, QBasic, and all the very old languages they use this old but high level. Those languages use this begin key as keyword. That's why the begin and all coming in flow pseudocode. So starting basically they are not using start. So anyway, you have to write this in structured English. That's all. Structured
okay,
English.
sir.
Start, then you can say input N1, N2, N3, and there's a data flow between these two. Likewise, you have to continue. So can you quickly do this?
Okay, sir. So, sir, how to show? We have to put WhatsApp. Oh,
No, you can just send it using chat. No, here there's a chat section. So
oh, okay.
okay, you can just upload as a screenshot. Upload the file and you can see. Or if you feel convenient, please send it to WhatsApp. Whatever.
Okay, sir.
So if you have done that, that's okay. You can mark, right?
Okay.
Start and input number one, number two, number three. Then you have to find out. So you can't directly give the output. You have to find out the output. That can be done using a process. And then you can output.
Yeah. So in this, I don't think you can upload in the chat. See, you can't
Yeah.
upload.
Yeah. Okay. So start. This is sequence. Sequence means instruction flow is one after the another. Start, then find in the total and average, print in the total and average, and then finally stop in the program. Please correct this, or if you have marked like. So here you have to find the total. You can say N1, N2, N3, and then you have to find the average too. So if you have included two boxes, it's okay, right? දෙකකට ලිවත් වෙන වෙනම ලිවත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. Total divide by 3.
Yes.
Without using a single box, you can use 2 if you want. That's okay. And you have to print the or display the total and average. Total and average. And then stop. This is the design. And related to this design, if you ask to write a pseudocode related to this design, if you are asked to write a pseudocode, okay, how you are going to write a pseudocode for this? You can
Sir,
say,
in this, instead of display, can't we put print?
sorry, yeah, you can put print.
In
That's okay,
print, right?
totally okay.
Okay.
You can write anything understandable in English.
Okay.
Input N1, N2, N3. Then you have to find out the total equal N1 plus N2 plus N3. Then the average equal total divided by 3, and then can print or display anything. Print total and then print the average. Then and this is how you write the pseudocode. Anything structural in this you can write. Then let's go for the actual code. So actually what we have to do. So before actually go for that code, let me show something very important. Before going to the particular code, let me show something very important. Right, this part, this is one very important thing. So you have to highlight and write this. When variable naming, variable means these things, which are used to store values. So you can't use special spaces between the words. If you are using something like this, number space 1, that is wrong. Because you can't use spaces between the words, right? So you have to use like num1 or number 1, but without spaces. Don't put spaces in between this. That is wrong. So the next one is no special symbols. You can't use like this n minus or no n dash. So then it will understand as n minus 1, n minus 2. So don't use these things. Or n something like this or something like this. Don't use these kind of symbols. That is also not valid. And the next thing, better to have a meaningful name. This is not a rule, but it's better. If it carry a meaning, then that's better because anyone can understand that and cannot start with a number. You can't say input one in O. You can say input one. Oh, you can't play a tell like that. You can't start with a number, but maybe in the middle or end you can use a number. And special thing is you can use underscore. This one, writing Iraken. This one you can use. This is okay. This is valid. You can use the underscore and cannot use keywords or the reserved words by the programming language. Don't use the reserved words. Any programming language has reserved words. So if you are using Windows, can you create a folder name with the name? Okay. If you're using Windows, can you create a folder name COM1? If you're using a computer, you can try COM1, no, without no spaces, without spaces.
Wait,
If you're using Windows computer, you can try now. COM1,
folder, right?
yeah, folder, create a folder using COM1, COM1. Give the
The
name
specific
COM1,
device name is invalid.
invalid. So that is why it's reserved by the OS. Operating system has reserved the particular keyword. Maybe you have never tried that, but it is reserved by the operating system. For an example, if someone is trying to create COM1, COM2, COM3 to mean that give a meaning to computer, but still that word is reserved by the operating system, so you cannot use. So there's a special way to do this, but anyway, so generally you can't. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in programming languages also, there are some reserved words. You can't use those reserved words for your naming. So here, for an example, print is a reserved word. In Python, print is a reserved word. You can't say print equal 1 because print is reserved. Print is already reserved. Something like that. Okay, please write this, draw this, write this. And this part you have to, I think better you write this rather than taking a screenshot. Better you write this because it should go to your brain. When naming variables, you should know this part. Once you finish, please let me know, then I can. So now
Sir,
we have to start writing our Python code.
that
So
N1 is there, right?
which
The input,
input?
you told we should make it as number one, and instead of putting that, yeah, you told there should be like, is it a must? Should we make it number one, or we can keep it as N1?
No, N1 is okay. N1 is okay because
Ah,
N1 is here, it is not a reserved word. There are no special symbols and cannot start with number. It's not starting with a number. Can use underscore, but it's not compulsory to use underscore. No? Cannot use
yeah.
keyword. It's not a keyword. So no space. So this is valid. This is totally valid.
Ah, okay, sir.
Right? But if you make like number one, that is more meaningful. But that is lengthier. But N1 also carry the meaning, no? N1 also carry the
Yeah.
meaning is number one. And you can make it simple or capital, right? That's okay. So, but it's case sensitive. In Python, it's case sensitive. Let me show this. So one thing that you can do using PyDroid, PyDroid, in mobile, if you are doing programming, please use PyDroid. And if you're not using mobile, you can download Python IDLE version 3 point some version. So
Python,
need to be 3 point. Python
ideal,
IDLE. So this
ideal,
one.
ideal.
Python IDLE.
3.74. No, 3.9 is the latest.
Yeah, so no need to go for the latest, but anyway, so 3 point some version, 3.4 or 3.7 or 3.6 or 3.9 or any version. So if you're using a
If we
computer, you
go
can
for the
try.
3.91 also, no problem, right?
No, no issue.
Ah, okay.
Right, just download the Python version. And if you're using a mobile phone, PyDroid.
Yeah,
PyDroid
download now,
is,
right? Now?
Yeah, it's okay.
Ah.
Please download. But it will not take much time. It's a very small program.
So we're gonna start right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, sir. Yeah, it's only 26 MB.
Yeah, it's very small program. It's lightweight. It's open source, it's free, it's lightweight, it's portable, it's cross-platform. You can download even for Mac, even for Linux, even for mobile, even for Windows. Any OS supports this. So that is the so that's why Python is really useful. And even though it's a beginner's language, it looks like a beginner's language. It can be used by the advanced programmers as well as researchers
Oh,
because
yeah.
this code is really powerful. So most of the
Hmm.
university students in their researchers, they are using Python, right? And network people use Python to do their network related security related things. Security people use Python, and then Python is used by the students to learn, and is used by the community to develop various or show various algorithms and things. It can be used to create small tools,
Installing, sir. 1 minute.
right? So I'll show you something. Okay, so let me show
Yeah,
this
it's done,
one.
Okay,
sir. You
sir.
go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Right. So I'll show you something here.
There's idle and there's module docs.
Module doc not required for the moment. Just go for the IDLE. Just download and install the IDLE.
Yeah. It's like ideally shell, right?
Yeah, IDLE. So you just IDLE is like a shell. So again as a shell, but you can take new file and write the programs in there. So let me show one thing which I have done here. Uh, I have created a small post actually. So here, this is the post, right? So
Yeah,
A
it's
level
done.
වලට Python එපා කියලා question mark එකක් දාලා මම එකක් හැදුවා. So just to see
Yeah.
what because the
Uh-huh.
previous time මම කලින් එකක් හැදුවා කලින් වීඩියෝ එකක් දැම්මා.
Hmm.
ඒකේ මම දැම්මේ මගේ channel එකේ Python මුල සිට සරලව කියලා. So again Python එතකොට දැන් university students ලා හැම ඇවිල්ලා පල්ලෙන් දැන් comments දාලා යනවා Python වල මොනවද තව සරල කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. It's already a simple language. So what to teach in Python එහෙම කිය දැන් ඉතින් ඒකේ දෙයක් නැහැ කියලා දාගෙන යනවා දැන් software
Uh-huh.
engineering ඉන්න කට්ටිය ඉන්නවනේ කට්ටිය එක ඒගොල්ලෝ දාගෙන යනවා.
Uh,
මම මෙහෙම එකක් හැදුවා. මෙහෙම එකක් හැදුවට පස්සේ දැන් කට්ටිය comments කට්ටිය comments දාගෙන
yeah.
ඉන්නවනේ. So here Python is the easiest language. I can't watch your videos කියලා. හරි. එතකොට වීඩියෝ මොකද වීඩියෝ බලන්න දෙයක් නෑ ලේල Python ඕනනම් මම කියන්නේ තවත් ඇඩ්වාන්ස් වෙන කම් Python උගන්නන්න ඕන කියලා. හරි. Python එච්චර අමාරු නැහැ. ඒ වගේ දාලා තියෙනවා. සමහරුණක් කමෙන්ට්ස් අයින් කරලා තියෙනවා මෙතන right දාපු කට්ටිය. මොකද දැන් මම මේකේ ඇත්තටම දැම්මේ question mark එකත් එක්ක. right? So මේක play කරාම ඉස්සෙල්ලම වෙන දේ තමයි so when you play this one okay first thing to happen is it will slide this right you can see it will slide this right
Yeah.
so it will show the first part but it will slide this I just wanted to get some people in who don't like Python but what I have shown here is basically so this is one thing that I have shown so how to write a program quickly or like how to do algorithm how to create algorithm and the next one I have done is here so this tool I have created a tool to entire album download entire album from a website
You created it?
Yeah, download entire album
Yes.
from a website. Then the third one, this one, I have created this program to resize. So I had like thousands of pictures. I wrote
Mm.
this script to resize all these pictures
to
within,
one side.
yeah, within very small time. So it resize all the pictures in this folder. So that is the next one. And it took a minute, like small program. And the last one was I just wrote this script to download all the cities listed in ikman.lk, all the cities listed in ikman.lk. So I wonder so how to give something to Sri Lankans. Because the first day I try to introduce Python as a useful thing. Then also they were commenting
Yeah.
like what to do with Python. Likewise, they were commenting like that. Then I try to show the importance of Python in the other way, saying that no need to learn Python or likewise. Then also they
Yeah.
are commenting in the negative way, but no one is putting something positive here. No one is. So basically, you can see only few like four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people out there, and you can see
Yeah.
here. So many put haha. Just see the thumbnail without watching the video. I don't know. I don't know how to teach some because these are some. So this is not related to
Yes.
even A levels. I just wanted to highlight the importance of Python and so why it should be used by the A level students without telling that it is difficult. It should be used though. My conclusion was it should be used by the students, but they are not hurry. They are not actually interested in watching even the conclusion. Anyway, they are going to miss that. They think that they know Python, but they are going to miss
Yeah.
all these things because in A level you don't have these things. So this is actually these are small things which can use Python to create small softwares that you like, right?
Make work easy.
Right. This is how people behave, so we cannot help anyways. This is the nature,
Yeah.
right? Some are not going to say because the initial rejection, they are not going to get anything out of that, so they are not making that as a useful tool. Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, so let's move to our code now. So I have ideally. I think you have also installed the ideally in
Yeah.
your right. Okay. So ideally, some in is a tool which you can use, and basically you can the ideal is responsive. Here, if you type 3 plus 4, it will just respond with the answer. So not like other programs. This is responsive. So if you write 5 into 7, it will give the answer. And if you type octal number like 0 or some octal number, it will convert it to decimal. If you write 0x hexadecimal number, it will convert it to decimal. If you write a binary number, it will convert it to decimal. So
So can't
like
you use
Python
it
is
in the exam?
that is ideally it's responsive. Right? Responsive thing
Can't. Yeah.
that will be interpreted. The same time it will be interpreted. So what is interpretation? What is interpretation? Any language, any high level language should be given to the computer with its own language. The computer use machine language, right? But high level languages, those languages are similar to our language. So if you tell something, okay, print hello, it's similar to our language, it will print hello. But the thing is, to computer to understand this, it is required to convert this to the machine language. So you need compilers and interpreters in that. So if you don't know, please mention that also, right? So high level, or we can understand high level languages, but computers prefer machine languages represented in binary. When we write programs, it is required